About not having to bend anyone's arm when having these conversations with players, but James Madison in the summer had interest from Newcastle in the Champions League. You convinced them to come here. Dragons in Bayern Munich. You convinced them to come here. And with Werner van der Ven, they had other options as well. What does it say, apart from your own persuasive skills, about the direction this club is going? That some of the best players around are choosing to come to Tottenham.
Yeah, I think. I don't think it's about. I don't think it's me convincing them, because I really don't try and do that. I think it's important for me that, not they meet me halfway, but there's a real, you want to hear some excitement in their voice about, and this is not just here at Tottenham, wherever I've been, it's kind of that they really want to come here for themselves. They see it as, the best step for their career, and for that sort of to happen, all I try and do is, again, try and sort of paint a picture for them about what they're entering into, and part of that conversation is me knowing as much as I can about them. I think that gives them some comfort that, it's not me just talking to another player, it's actually me talking to someone who I've invested time in to find out about, and then allowing them to sort of articulate sort of what they're looking for next. And you can sort of pick up in that conversation as to, okay, I think this is the right place for them because the things they want are here. Now, there's all these other things that come into it. Obviously, there's there's financial aspect. There's there's the network around the players themselves who obviously have their own opinions and that. So you can't really go on the fact that you can, me as an individual, can convince a person to come. But what I, like I said, try and do is just give them real clarity and certainty that I wouldn't be speaking to them if I didn't think they would fit and this wasn't the right place for them.
It does show that you're building something special.
I hope so, and hopefully a lot of that is just from them seeing externally. Maybe it's the way we're playing and the kind of players we're bringing in and seeing how the players we're bringing in. I think it helps us that, I think our summer window was good in the fact that the players who came in sort of contributed. So when again, it shows that we've put a lot of time and effort and care into making sure we bring in the right types, players and people. So again, I think that gives comfort to anyone who's deciding, okay, well, they wouldn't be talking to me unless they see me as part of this. So I think a lot of that is just, like I said, the external and then watching us, how we're playing, how we're going about things. And I think that is a good selling point for us. The more we can sort of go down that track and have success in these areas, particularly when you're talking about younger players, because part of their sort of journey is they don't want to make the wrong decision at this point of their careers. So seeing others in a similar boat to them coming here and sort of having an effect straight away, I think helps us in that pursuit.
Just on Timo, look in the past, you're all about the present, but in the recent past he hasn't played that much this season. I know he's had injuries, but had competition at Leipzig. Is that a worry a bit? Is it going to take him a while to get up to speed because of lack of...
No, because again, you have to look into that, and it's fair to say that Leipzig play a little bit differently now, and it's somebody like Timo. The system they play doesn't necessarily suit him, and like I said, he's got some competition. But look, it's fair to say that if Timo was playing regularly and scoring goals, he wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be able to afford him. Simple as that. So you're looking for these opportunities and potentially trying to look beyond the obvious to say, well, there's an opportunity here. And when Johan sort of presented to me, I was really excited by it, because I just thought, okay, here's an opportunity that normally wouldn't sort of come across our desk at this point in time where we are as a club, because like I said, our priority was kind of the centre-back position, and I could see some real possibilities in him playing in our system that maybe, at Leipzig, like I said, they sort of changed a little bit the way they played, and maybe the opportunities wouldn't be as plentiful for him there. John?
Hello, Ange. You've had a fantastic first half of the season.
Thanks, John.
Pleasure. It's gone incredibly well for you, hasn't it? And you've made now two really significant signings. How much better can you get in the second half of the season? Does that affect excites you?
Yeah, it does, and look, that has to be the objective and the aim for not just me, for every manager, I guess. You know, like I said, we've got to take every opportunity we can to get stronger, and part of that, I think, part of that process is just a trust thing of you know, the club. They've obviously invested in me, and you can only gain that trust over a period of time and after doing certain things. And I think, you know, the club itself probably got a lot of comfort from our summer window in that we got, you know, our business right there. So when you're going into this window and you're saying you want to work quickly, there's a little bit of a leap of faith there that the club has to have in me and what I'm doing. And I think our first half of the year's helped that, and hopefully that just keeps accelerating, because then that allows me then to, you know, work, hopefully accelerate our progress as a club and to get us to where I want to. But you know, again, all things being equal, we've had pretty rotten luck with injuries, because they haven't just been hamstrings. We've had a couple of knee injuries, a couple of, you know, Bentancur, Madison ankle injuries. So we've had suspensions, which are, you know, our own fault. So all these kind of things that we've had to overcome, you kind of hope if we do get a smoother run with the additions we've made, we certainly feel like we could finish the season stronger than we started.
And you're right in the mix, aren't you, for where you are in the table? You're obviously still in the FA Cup. I suppose you don't want to put any limits on what you can achieve. Generally, you never put any limits on it.
No, I don't think that would be right for me to do that with this group of players and for the club. You know, like I said, we're kind of scratched and clawed our way to stay in a decent position in the league. You know, we're through to the next round of the cup, and you know, when those possibilities are always there, you certainly want to tackle them, you know, as robustly as possible without any fear of, you know, falling short or fear of not achieving something. You know, it's about us. We've done that from day one of kind of having this clear sort of vision as to the kind of football we want to play, and we're still, some parts of it we've been really, really good and surprised me our progress. Other parts we're still really in the early stages of development. So we've got a platform there to kick on, and we've got to try and take advantage of that.
Matt?
Do you think Tottenham are in the title race?
Well, define to me what a title race is.
A realistic chance of winning the title in 1 point.
Yeah. So by that definition, if I said no, you'd turn around and say, oh, "Come on, Ange," wouldn't you? Because by definition, we are, aren't we?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So yes, we are, and I've said that all along. That until the point where you're not, why would you even discount the possibility? So, like I said, we're kind of gone through a really tough period, but we've been hanging in there. You know, we had a sort of, you know, four games, I think, the results obviously went against us, but we kind of clawed our way back. We've had a little setback. We're still in there. You know, I think our performances for the most part have been pretty consistent. But again, all of that is meaningless unless we finish the season, you know, back half the year stronger than we did the first, and that's what we've got to do.
And do you think the fact that you are at this moment in a title race has influenced being able to work quickly in the January window? Because if you didn't, maybe the motivation from the club isn't quite the same to do it quickly.
Or it could work the other way, where they go, you know what, it's not working, we need to give him some players. So sometimes it works against you.
I've done that here traditionally.
Well, you don't know that. You don't know that. So it can work against you sometimes, you know, that actually he's doing all right, he doesn't need any players. So I kind of, again, I don't think that's the relevant point. I think it's more of, like I said, a matter of faith and trust to say, okay, you know, because every time you bring a player in or you make a transfer, there's an investment there. It's not limitless, you know, we're not, you know, it doesn't matter how big the club is. And I think, you know, most clubs feel more secure in doing it if they have faith and trust in the person who's making those decisions. And these are my decisions. I take responsibility for the transfers. So I think that's where we've been able to move quickly, because, like I said, everyone's been really aligned, everyone at the club, as to what our objectives were. And there didn't need to be many discussions around, you know, who the aim was the player, and there didn't need to be too many discussions around whether we needed to look at other options. It was, okay, this is what we want, let's go and try and make it happen. If it didn't happen, it didn't happen. But I think that's what's helped us move fairly quickly.
Can you give us an idea of when you think Madison might be here?
Look, he's getting close. He hasn't trained with the group yet. We've obviously got for Man U game a 2-week spell, so I'd be hoping that between the sort of the two Manchester games, he's back training with the first team, provides no setbacks in that sort of 2-week window.
Okay, any others before we... Yeah?
Ange, I think it's probably fair to say over the last 10 years, even though Tottenham have had some very good seasons, they've away at the so-called Big Four, Big Five, they've not picked up, a big total of wins. Is that something that you're aware of, and is it something that you're going to try and, create this sort of more positive sort of mentality where they can go to places like United for the weekend and get the win and make some sort of statement result?
Again, I'm not a great one at sort of looking at sort of the historical references to these things, because I always feel that, I wasn't there, so I don't know the conditions or the reasonings behind whether there was something endemic in the club that didn't allow that, or some thought process. I kind of just tackle them as I get into every club from there onwards, and I think it is important how you perform in those kind of games, because ultimately if you want to be successful, you need to be able to perform in those kind of big games, and particularly away from home, the challenges. But if you look at, we obviously went to Arsenal, we went to City, we played Liverpool here. We've done okay in those games. Not the result, just results-wise, but performance-wise, I don't think we've gone into any of those games and I've walked away going, there was a massive gap between us and them. We gave as good as we got in all those games, and it is important. And Old Trafford is another place where that the atmosphere and the way that the crowd get behind the team is going to be a great challenge for us, and it'd be good to see how we kind of react to that and how we can sort of keep developing as a team, because it is an important part of the process. Home comforts are great, and we've got a great home ground and great crowd behind us, but if you can do it away from home in adversity, then I think it just accelerates your growth.
The final one from Tom, please.
And just a quick one, does that mean that you think Madison could be available for the City game?
Oh, no idea, mate. No idea. We'll see. Yeah, like I said, it depends on when he starts training. If he starts training early next week, potentially. But then again, you've got to see how they train with the first team and how they feel. But I think we've got 3 games in that week after the Man City game. So I'd have to say that he should be, him and sort of Manor Solomon are kind of the next two that should be fairly close after that, provided there's no setbacks.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.